Hello, everybody. Welcome to Steakdorra, the Explorers Review, REL 1 and 3A. This is week 5. Something about it not seeming like week 5, and we've probably played more games than we remember. I did a very
Your
good
intro
job.
the second time was a lot worse.
Yeah. It was, but you know, I can't be as spontaneous the second time.
I mean, I was a little tempted given the treatment I got from you, but
What did I do to you? Thanks, Mongoose.
Mongoose appreciates us. No, Mongoose.
Oh, I see.
It's lost. It's gone forever.
Yeah, we can't talk anymore. It's over. It's over. Show's over. This is week 5 preview, week 4 review, as it were. So we have a match to watch, and we'll review some match results, and we'll predict next week's match results. And I hope we did better than we did the week before, because we're still in negative points, proving that we deserve to have this job and totally know what we're talking about, and aren't just flying by the seat of our pants and banking on my massive charisma to maintain the integrity and the entertainment value of the show.
We're here for something that's massive, and it's not your charisma.
This is my hair.
Yeah, that is. No,
yeah. I'm thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. It's true.
When I called Ben to start this, I said, "Hello, you thick bowl of oats," and my partner behind me said, "Excuse me."
Excuse me? Meanwhile, mine said, were you talking? I wasn't listening. Which turned out to not matter because I was talking to you. Yeah, charisma definitely is my dump stat. We are watching a game from 3A this week. If you saw the announcement, we're watching Hindi and Dung, Vampires and Skaven, because we watched one from REL 1 last week. We had to watch the Vampires eventually. I think
so
that's
you know
just
how he talked me into this game? He was like, "Hey, do you want to watch Vampires versus Skaven? We have to get Vampires over with at some point." And I was not really paying attention, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And then I was like, "Wait, this is a Hindi game. You made me watch a Hindi game."
You tricked me into watching a Hindi. I'm like, sure did.
Sexual time only.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have to watch the Vampires at some point. They're vampires. It's fun, right? Plus, it turns out that this is 2 teams that are up at the top of the div right now, so it's pretty relevant for standings as well. We haven't watched either of them, so it is a good candidate. So we're gonna
you're not going to convince me this is a good idea.
You know, it might be a bad idea. I put exactly 12 seconds of thought into whether we should watch this match or not. It was like, do you want to watch this one? We went like, yeah, we could do that. And I went, okay, I'll load it. And that was the discussion. So
I'm getting my mullet chopped off this weekend. Ben, you should get your hair sorted, and then we can reappear beautiful boys next week.
I've been growing this for like almost 3 years.
For charity?
No, just because I wanted longer hair again.
I'm just kidding. You did have a bit of a fro when I met you.
I did. And that's specifically, I had okay, this is a long story. I'm not going to talk about all of it, but I had a fro when you met me because I really wanted long hair because kind of guy that was into rock and sort of metal music in high school. That's what you want. All your friends have that, blah, blah, blah. But my dad was really strict. It wouldn't let me have long hair. And that was the weird compromise we ended up in that I would keep trying to grow it. And every time he made me get my hair cut, I'd be like, take off as little as possible. And I ended up with this weird fro thing because I couldn't ever end up with actually long hair, but I didn't want short hair. Stupid long story, but that's, what happened.
Yeah, fair enough. This is the longest my hair has ever been by, 6 inches probably.
This is probably the longest my hair has ever been, but probably only by 2 or 3 inches. I had it almost as long in university, briefly. It was poofier because I did less to take care of it then. Now it's curlier.
But every time I turn around on camera while I'm setting up the stream, and not the stream, the getting ready for the stream, Ben just shouts about my mullet.
My hair is just long. Just a lot of this now. It's past my
Mongoose has something on the mind, and it's not Ben's charisma.
Okay, let's stop talking about hair and watch the game, shall we?
Yeah, let's get back to dicks.
Yeah, stop talking about hair and talk about cock.
Like that you went
safe for work
cock.
show.
The hard C was the choice. Was the good choice there.
Yeah, I think it sounded slightly funnier. I think. Okay, I'm gonna do this. It's a game. Let's do this thing. Okay, Indy and
I've been really
Vampires.
putting this off.
You ready to go? Yeah, you can't do
No.
Gambly forever. We have to watch the game at some point.
Ugh.
3, 2, 1, go. I mean, if you want good, like, to be fair, the matches that we play, like, people keep coming here and being like, oh man, we're gonna watch one person dice another person. Do you think we care? Like, have you watched us talk about these things before? The game is background noise while we rant about other stuff that is totally irrelevant to the game. And
Also, if we're watching a shitty game, it's your fault.
Yeah.
We told you how to avoid this. You tell me what the good games are, and I won't ever have to watch Hindi. You did this to me.
But there's a rat ogre and vampires. I don't care really what else happens.
Can't put lipstick on a pig, Ben.
Yes, you can. Like, I don't.
You shouldn't.
I mean, I don't think the pig would like it very much, and I think there's some ethical issues with animal testing. But
what if you're not doing it for testing? What if you're doing it just to make the pig feel pretty?
Well, if the pig consents, then sure.
It's true. Rama and I did talk our match to death, but I am satisfied with the amount of talking to death we did. So.
Oh God, I would want to die. Like, if you made me sit through that,
No, I mean, I don't want to rewatch that game. Also, the first half I played pretty poorly, so.
Like, I have never, like, let me emphasize this. I have never rewatched one of my own games, ever. Despite having streamed all of them and having several have been streamed by other people, discussing my own game for 30 minutes sounds like hell.
I don't watch any. Well, I mean, I've never streamed my own game, so I literally can't. But I watch other people sometimes. Well, it's not. I like the I like the external commentary. I think that's helpful for me not to just like go back to where I was in my own head.
I just have other things I'd rather do with my time, frankly.
It's fair.
Talking about games is fun while they're happening because it's cool and like
you are slightly less obsessive in that particular way than I am.
Yes.
Starts off with a stun. Are we going to see a saucy rat ogre 3-die?
Can you put lipstick on a surprise roger though? Before bringing back memes?
We're not.
Oh, okay. No surprise roger.
Read the room then.
We get a punch with our mighty blow tackle, and then we protect him with the loners, also screening off the ball. And we got a rat ogre 3-die coming up on this thrall. He's movement 5, so he can't get away. That's not how that works. But I just want to watch the rat ogre kill things.
Doing a good job covering things up. It's that first turn, so you can actually protect your positionals. You sure that what? I don't know what we're talking about.
You guys excited for me to use Cup Killer in the Imperium Cup? Speaking of rat ogres.
I mean, mostly you guys were just like, anytime a line rat made a dodge, you guys were like, fuck this, horrible. And then anytime an elf made a dodge, you're like, yeah, this is sensible. This is what's expected here. But it's fine. Everyone hates the rats. In particular, Michaels hates the rats.
Rats are terrible. Everyone hates rats.
And also, my line rats dodged like elves.
Was that a rat ogre? That was pretty funny.
That was good, actually.
Well, that was the surprise rat ogre, like that. I was
I know. Especially because like most of the cast didn't notice, and they're like, "Wait a second.
Wait, was that a rat ogre?"
Hey, Indy getting it done.
The mighty blow vampire more aggressive than the mighty blow rat.
Was that the niggle? Was it the niggle? What done it? It was.
Oh, Niggles did it.
No, it wasn't actually.
No, they didn't.
It was mighty blow. What done it?
Well, clearly getting diced. Tindy's mighty blow worked on armor 7, and the rat's mighty blow didn't work on armor 7. So, game's over. Diced into the ground. 100 percentile dice on diced or not.
No, Ben, you're so behind in the memes. It's not game over. Season's over. He just has to quit now.
I see. 100th percentile dice. Season's over.
Fuck. Are we going after the strength vamp? I think that's
hope so.
illegal.
Wait,
Season's over, illegal. GG indeed.
Read reroll.
No,
man, this vampire team has 2 strength 5 vampires, and the vampire team I played the week that happened also had 2 strength vampires.
Four pushes on a strength piece is triggering me. We have to turn the stream off now.
I think that it's like strength vampires are just as free as like Mighty Blow piling on wolves and REL at this point, because there's 4 floating around between the 2 vampire teams I've seen. Although the vampire team I played last week put both of their strength 5 vampires on the LOS against Nurgle, and I was like, okay, and just KO'd 2 of them on turn 1. Which
Dung, I don't know if this ball is strictly speaking safe.
I mean, the ball's never really safe if vampires are in range of it.
But this is a 2+2+2+2+, which is less safe than usual. I guess technically there's another 2+ for Bloodlust, which you do actually have to pass. So. I mean,
safe for safe for rats though is generally physically out of range, is what they're used to. So like being less safe than that is not a tall ask. There's no recovery though, I think, is the thing that matters.
Oh, well, failing the Bloodlust makes that plan stupid anyway, so.
So instead we just kill a rat. No, he's fine. Don't worry about it. It's just, season's over, stream's over. Bye.
I mean, I think it's worse if you're aware of your failings.
Oh.
Vampires don't always need friends, just 1 in 6 times. Oh. Rip.
Sometimes they roll 1s.
Hindi snaked.
What's
over.
Annoying about
both teams are done with their season. They just have to delete them now.
Delete the season for everybody?
Yeah, I can do that. Actually, I don't think I have admin rights on REBBL anymore.
That's
I like this trying to push the sidestep vampire onto. Oh, you've got grab. You can do that. I'm an idiot.
You can. Vampires at higher TV like stop failing. Like vampires at low TV, like whenever you roll a 1, it's just generally a problem because they don't have dodge, they don't have block. The bloodlust is bad, but like at higher TVs when all of them have blodge, it's so hard to actually start. Like it's much hard. I shouldn't say so hard. It's much harder to like vamp yourself into losing like it is at lower TVs. If that makes sense. Like,
I might have considered pushing the thrall onto the Radogre. I think you're going a little ham on the vampires. You don't have claw. I would probably stick to just beating up. I guess he has an enormous bench, but it helps you for this drive. I don't know.
And even if you
could have pushed something onto the Radogre to get the Radogre a little bit more relevant, I might have considered that.
Yeah, because just repositioning wild animal is kind of difficult. And like you're more likely to remove a thrall, and even if you remove a couple of thralls for this drive, that means the vampire's movement is so much more limited in that they like
Dung is like all week I was like kill thralls, and then he got into the game and he's like kill vamps.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
No, that's exactly what happens, and sometimes you do kill the vamps and then you're very pleased. But
I did that exact same thing basically when I played vampires this week. I was like, man, I should even foul thralls if I see them on the floor, and then I basically never touched the thralls, even though I like talked about that a lot before the match. I did the exact same thing.
Yes, well, the vamps are. I mean, in particular when they don't have claw, and the vamps are much sturdier.
Yeah, higher armor, harder to block.
Wait, why would you walk onto the Radogre? It was literally standing there uselessly. Was it even in the way?
I don't know.
I mean, I know that you're blodge and all, but.
It's also only a 1 die. Oh, there we go. Got one. The Hangman.
No regen.
That makes me want to get back into Malifaux.
Oh, it did regen. It just... Oh, they fixed the bug. I always forget.
They did fix the vamp bug. Weird. Like, that cyanide actually fixed a thing, but that is one of the few things...
I think they also fixed the bug we submitted.
I think they did eventually. The like strip ball, stand firm, blodge, weird interaction thing.
Just dodge, yeah.
Strip ball dodge.
If you strip balled on a dodge player with stand firm, and you rolled a defender stumbles, you didn't take the ball away.
Yeah, and you should have.
Now the Rat Ogre's getting punched. Dauntless.
Yeah, Dauntless. I have an ogre in the Imperium Cup with Dauntless, which is, I think, the most useless skill you could put on an ogre. But it came with piling on and jump up, so, you know, I guess it was probably worth.
I mean, that's pretty typical for a vampire team. The self-harm. Like, I love the turn 8 LOS blocks, where normally for any other team you'd be like, oh, cool, 3 free hits to cause injuries. For vampires, it's like, sweet, an opportunity to remove myself.
Yeah, they fixed it a while ago. Like, I think a couple seasons ago, actually.
Yeah, it's been a while. I just always forget. I have been playing vampires and should know, but...
Yeah, they did fix it for that reason, right? They wanted to make it so that you have to hit the Apo before you know if they're regen or not.
Yep, exactly. So you can feel like a doofus.
When you Apo and then they regen?
Yes. Good thrall to target. Unfortunately, doesn't get anywhere. Dunk does have a bench and could consider fouling. He's already one player down, so he's only got one bench left, so probably not.
I want to see the Rat Ogre do something. I mean, that's probably just a bad goal to have, because Rat Ogres doing something is generally not in their MO. But, you know, that doesn't mean I can't want it. Just because something's unlikely.
Yeah, sometimes you want the dirty, nasty thing you shouldn't, you know?
Yeah. Don't kink shame me.
Is this a cage?
Butterfly, I mean. I mean, nothing's ever really a cage against vampires. This is close.
Now, do you take the 1 die into a 1 die on the
It's the good old 7 cage.
Oh, you wouldn't. We were talking about that.
We're talking about the bug thing.
Yeah, when it's... Oh, it tries to hypnogaze.
You wouldn't Apo on MNG. I just mean you used to be able to know if you needed Tapo. You used to know if they regen before you decided to use the Apo. Which is what we're talking about. Oh, that's a bad one. That's the Claw. Although that Claw doesn't have Mighty Blow, which is a bit of a weird thing. But
it's got Dauntless, though.
Dauntless Claw. It's really good against Black Orcs. And nothing else. Or, I guess Saurus.
It was the Mighty Blow what done it. It was an 8 into a 9, the perfect roll. And that Rat Ogre is never getting up again. Welcome to Rat Ogres.
Not unless you blitz with him. And it's currently a frenzy trap, sort of. So 2 die.
Yeah, this isn't a very good screen, because obviously the Strength 4 can just punch through this very easily.
I mean, you could even consider...
I agree, Fed. I think that, like, the way you played as a Skaven is to score immediately.
Yes.
Like, you two-turn, and then you put the Vamps in their, you know, less favorable habitat.
Vamps absolutely love being on defense. I would almost consider blitzing that Rat Ogre anyway. Like you could put like...
I mean, I think he's going to. That's what the vibe on this is.
Yeah, you could like assist so that it's not necessarily a frenzy trap, and then blitz with the Rat Ogre just so that he ties up a bunch of vampires, and at least is slightly useful.
He's going to do it with the 2 heads piece, maybe? No, he's just...
If you could... Oh, fill the GFI. And if you could have... I think you needed to have moved the Gutter Runner like 1 square... Or no, it should be
snaked.
Okay. Oh.
This is not fine at all, because it's just a standard cage, so...
Yeah.
And he's going to take the ball.
That Rat is like technically in range, right? No, he's not.
Yeah, but I mean, like, just because things went poorly on offense doesn't mean they should.
No, the Rat is in range.
Vamps usually... no, it's a movement busted one, so it's not even close.
Movement busted? Oh, it's movement 8.
Like one off, I should say.
Never mind. Yeah, I was gonna say if you could get a Gutter Runner like in scoring range and then just blitz that Rat Ogre from the floor so that he's like trying to tie up at least the thralls so that the vampires have less movement options, then it's probably your best chance to score the turn after. But we're not in scoring range and the Rat Ogre's still on the floor, so all that is moot.
Yeah, this is a bit unfortunate. He needed this Gutter Runner to be in a better position, or this Storm Vermin to be in a better position, so that he could abuse the Vamp's lack of movement. Break there is a real problem.
In my game against vampires this week, I had the ball sacked from me for 7 turns in a row. It was great. It's like every Hypnogaze worked and every Bloodlust worked. I'm like, please just stop. It's just like 6 or 7 turns every turn. Just sack, and then I pick up and move forward. Sack, pick up and move forward. Sack, pick up and move forward. It's like, oh my god, this is just such a nightmare. Oh boy.
Just vampire things.
Pretty much. I also had only a single tackle, but to be fair, I'm also Nurgle, where I have the strength and guard to make the strength part a little bit less bad. Hey, the Rat Ogre got up. What a good boy. What's the Rat Ogre?
The Gutter Runner did not.
Crack it. Oh, the 2-heads Gutter Runner failed. And
You should be fine now. Ooh, spicy.
oh, hello. Oh, because the first one was tackle. I see. I was like, wait, how did he dodge again? But that's because it was tackle, not a reroll. Or tackle using a reroll, not the dodge using a reroll.
I would have thrown that ball.
You
Can't reach the corner, can I? Oh, he did an action and then turned over. Can the Vamps? The Vamps can reach the
Vamps
corner.
can just go.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would. But at least that's a roll.
But it's a 3-die. It's a 1 in 36 and then a 3-die.
Yes, but as we see, 3 dice fail. So that's the reroll gone at least. It's a 3-die on dodge at least. Doesn't catch the ball. Has to GFI. No, it doesn't. Oh, of course he bloodlusted, so he can't.
No, he can't go get it. He has to bite the food sack. Oh, Vincent is injured. Poor Vincent.
This is a bit annoying because you don't have a reroll for this, so it is a 3+ pickup.
Naming thralls with people names is like naming pets with people names. Paul. That's not a name for a cat.
We Appo the KO on... Huh, okay. Power Appo to make sure we get him back. I think you were likely about to get 2 KO rolls, so I don't know about that. Especially now.
Goodbye, I am a vampire. Hello, I have the ball now. Never mind.
Is this player a strip ball? You don't have a strip ball, do you? No. He's gonna get strip ball.
2+, 3+, 2+ to score for the Rats here. Which you probably should do. You could use the wizard to make it a 2+, 2+, but I don't know if that's worth the wizard. I don't think that's worth the wizard. You probably want to use it on defense to try to turn over the Vamps, like basically for free.
I mean, it's just one random vermin hit, and like if you're gonna snake something, it doesn't matter anyway. I know that's weird logic, but it's not like you had a reroll either way. So if you snake, you snake. Sure, you could snake on the 6th set of dice, which you wouldn't have needed to roll, but.
It's a block. It's like, I mean, it's risk assessment things. You decide if it's worth getting a random hit or not.
It technically lowers your chance of scoring by a very, very small amount. I get it.
But is that lowered risk worth the chance of removing a player? And that's the question you have to ask yourself when doing that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
I like the vampire logo. I didn't realize there was a cool like bat with a football. I like that.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if I've seen that one. I've only made one vampire team in my life, so.
I've never made a vampire team. Look, everybody! I fixed the stadium too. It's no longer Challengers Cup.
I'm proud of you.
I hope everybody's pleased. It is still a REBBL stadium though, which is cool.
Have you fixed the fact that we're going to crash in about 30 minutes?
Nope.
Cool. I know I have a vampire team with a movement 8 vampire, and he is a source of endless disappointment.
For your opponents? I would be disappointed if I had to play that.
Nope. That was only for me.
Oh, well, it's also because it's beer league. You only have like 2 vampires.
Yeah, but he's Blodge movement 8. Should be a team on his own.
Yeah, but if he like gets rando removed, you just lose because you're playing a team of thralls.
Yeah, that's basically the deal. It's like, yeah. I don't have any super thralls.
Extra reroll for the Rats here. Not that it matters, because they have 0 turns on which to use it. If only it was Blood Bowl 3 or Blood Bowl 2020, and you could, like, you know, multiple rerolls on a turn or something.
Yeah, Armor 7 and in particular Dung's injury rolls. I think mostly Dung's injury rolls not being the kindest.
I don't have any beer, apparently. I do have... I was about to say scotch, but I guess it's technically not scotch. It's single malt whiskey, but because it's from Wales, but it's tasty.
Everyone should have to be, subject to a public tearing down of their match at some point in their Blood Bowl career.
I mean, we don't ever really tear down too often because we talk about things like scotch and whatever else you're talking about. Logos.
It's true. Sometimes I briefly pay attention to the game to be like, well, that was garbage. But, no. Gets a foul removal, so Rats are going to be down a player, I think.
Beer. If I had one.
He's down. Ooh, Rats are down 2 players, actually.
That's going to be a bit of an issue for the Rats. Only one of the KOs back too, so we're going to be down quite a number, which is not great. Although it's probably a little bit less bad on defense versus Vamps than it would be otherwise. Although we are going to have to start putting we can still put mostly loners in the line, right? Yeah.
Yep, you have to put a thrower, but throwers are...
Or the Rat Ogre.
Why do you have 2 throwers, Dung?
To put one in the LOS.
Okay, sorry. Why do you have any throwers? Question 1. Question 2, why do you have 2 throwers?
In Blood Bowl 2020, you'll want a thrower to do the throwing because they made passing a skill for some reason that gutter runners aren't good at. One is going to replace the other, apparently, which I guess makes a bit of sense if you want to have a thrower on your team.
I'd argue you'd do that by buying more gutter runners, but...
You'd replace your thrower by buying more gutter runners? I mean, I guess that's fair.
Because he was like, I only had 2 gutter runners. They're okay for one turning.
Movement 7 plus a 3 square pass.
Yep, you get a built-in reroll. So if you don't have stat freak gutter runners, yeah.
I'm sure there's a breakpoint there, right? Though,
so.
Because movement 7 and then a pass catch is going to be worse depending on how long that pass is than the movement 9 handoff, even if there are GFIs in there. But it depends on how many GFIs and how long the pass is. So there's definitely an equation you could work out there, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with Fed. Especially when you have a wizard, I think Rats always want to have that 6 turns of defense if they don't get it right away, if they don't win the toss. And you do have to get value out of the wizard, and you're in a position now where you're rapidly going to lose value because you won't be able to make a play even with the wizard.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best takeaway from this match, is that it was likely that you wanted to try to just straight up 2-turn rather than last it longer.
Futz about. I always wanted 2-turn anyway because I'm terrible at Skaven offense, as shown in my Ramosecond. Yeah.
I just want to punch Rats to death with my Nurgle Warriors, but that never seems to work out.
I mean, it's pretty easy when Rats are on offense because they have to do so much faffing around with the ball, and not against Nurgle really, but
against Nurgle, you pick up the ball and leave, and then I just sit there and cry.
Why'd you re-roll that, Hindi? I wouldn't have re-rolled that.
Because he wanted the ball.
I guess it gets a thrall served. It doesn't because, shit happens, but it could have.
Oh no, a thrall serve.
The ball's actually safe from these Skaven because they're pretty far back.
And it's movement busted. One of them is movement busted, right? Or is that the one that's off?
The one that's farthest forward, there are 2 movement busts. The one that's farthest forward is movement 9, but... Yeah, sadly, we don't have a ton of players left.
I mean, saying that Skaven aren't great at offense is a bit weird, but I think I understand what you mean. They're not great at prolonged offense. They're very good at scoring. They're incredibly good at scoring, but that's not necessarily the same thing as offense.
They're good until you have a bad turn. You feel very stretched thin, and if you have a turn where nothing goes down and none of your dodges work, then you're in a position where none of your positionals are protected, and also you're your line, like your offensive line, is just falling apart.
They're very good at scoring from any given position. They're very bad at actually like putting together a long offensive drive. Like it's hard to separate offense and scoring in my mind, but it's also hard to say that Rats are bad at scoring when you often see them win like 5 or 6-3 or something.
Yeah, I agree. Like Skaven are better at scrambling and managing to score, but I don't know if that's actually like, much of a skill. Like elves are better at stalling. Like you just you have the opportunity to reposition and screen when you just can't do that often. Like half the time you're like, okay, well I've got a gutter runner and a prayer, so I'm just going to cover it a little
that's
bit,
all
I
you
guess.
need, because like a gutter runner is like a couple of 2+ away from scoring, as long as if they have like
for sure. Like there was a turn in the Ramesset game where he 1-9 to leap to sack the ball, but I basically had just thrown as many gutter runners at and around the ball as I could, and I was like, okay, he probably sacks this, probably can't recover, and if he doesn't, I can probably score. And even if he does, he probably can't recover with the shotguns.
I think it's probably fair to say Rats are very good at scoring, but they're not necessarily good at offense. As long as you can mentally decouple those two things, I think that's a fair statement.
Fed, that is exactly what happened in the Rama game, by the way, is that I turn 8 stalled by scrambling massively and getting out of it in the end.
Wrestle, tackle, thrall. Also kick.
Taking down the strength 4 boy.
Wrestle, good skill.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. Like maybe I should have quick scored, but I hate going into shootouts against elves.
You could solve all these problems by playing a team that doesn't have anything higher than movement 6.
Trying to challenge myself, you know. I'm very good at Rats in that I'm rolled a gutter runner with strength, agility, and 2 hits.
Although my team does have higher than movement 6, I have a movement 7 that I took because Viking Cop pressured me into it on stream, which, is fair, I think. But taking advice from Viking Cop seems like a double-edged sword.
Orcs are great at offensive stalling.
A lot of the time it's probably good,
it is
but it's also weird.
I suppose, that you did just roll an unnecessary 2+, I think, to... Well, at least one unnecessary 2+. Well, I guess you could have backed up if that one had bloodlusted, but you had just the dodge through. I guess you had a snake chance either way. Yeah, never mind. It was a snake chance either way. I don't think you could have made it without rolling a dodge. No. I was going to attempt to lambast you for the hypocrisy of the 2+, but I don't think it was actually hypocritical.
Orcs are chunky and have a boatload of guard, which is kind of the thing to do offensive stalls with. Yes, I mean,
orcs are really, really good at not losing games, is what I've learned from playing them in clan. You play, I mean, last season I lost 1 game, and so far this season I lost 1 game. So
I've lost most of my games in clan this season, and that's to be fair, I went 0 for 10 in regens in my first 2 games. As undead, my team got completely decimated, and then my matchups for the season were chaos dwarves, chaos nurgle, vampires, something elves, and I just got killed game after game after game with 1% regen.
You got killed to death.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Tristan's making fajitas in the other room, and I'm gonna die.
I had a sausage, Italian spice or seasoning, and peppers and onions on a sandwich, which was nice.
It does sound nice. I think I would have just put the rat ogre on the thralls if you were gonna look to tie up some stuff.
Generic, easy to make roasted potatoes that are sort of cut up potatoes, put oil and salt on them, and put them in the oven for a bit.
Is there a way to do that? I think if you were going to do this, you needed to not base these 2 on the side and just build a more thick cage, because right now this is a hypno gaze away from sacking.
I really like rat ogres.
If you were just going to dodge them out, I think you were in a position. Oops. I think you were in a position where you lost on a blitz no matter what you did. So kind of playing up
here. We're just moving the gutter runner up now with guard.
I'll pause forever. He eventually moves up in cages. And I think that if you were going to do this kind of like all in on 2-turning up the middle, which I don't hate.
There's the GFI.
Yeah, okay, I'll pause it then, or I'll play it then. I think if you were going to do this, you needed to all in on it. Like you half-assed it slightly with these 2 bases when you really needed these 2 players. So I would have just like said
2 things. Whole ass 1 thing.
Well, like it's important to acknowledge when you can't be safe, and like when you just have to like say, if this happens, I lose. And I think that this was that position, because right now you have no protection against Hypnogaze, and 2 more line rats would have given you something at least. Hey, Hypno fails, but you can try again.
I love how when rat ogres run around, they do the big guy shaking the screen thing, but they also run really fast for some reason. Like just like this train.
They are like kind of amped. So we do get a 3 die on the ball here with no recovery at all. And we are going to be leaving it near a 2-heads gutter runner, so it seems likely that Dung scores, even if you get the ball down. Yeah, that's oh, never mind. Oh.
Bonk.
Maybe never mind.
Not magnet hands.
Good scatter for the vampires into a dodge catch. That was pretty spicy. It was a 3+ dodge, 3+ pickup.
3+
if it had scattered,
spicy. You heard it here first.
If it had scattered farther away, it would have been harder for Hindi to do this. How many good scatters were there? 1, 2, 3. 3 out of 8, I guess. Anyway.
Pumpkin is injured. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have I never run the ball forward with rats. It's just not a thing you really need to do. It's so
then
easy
the
to
wizard
get the
fails. Damn it. Superfed School of Rats.
Yeah, like I think that like 2-turning with a cage is something that lesser teams do. Rats throw scoring threats forward.
You're going hard in on this rat master race thing. That's what lesser races do. Oh my god.
I mean, the Vamps have no speed and are set so far back. You could have had a gutter runner like upper midfield, and or like lower midfield, I guess, and then just like run up for a pass. I mean, I guess with Vamps it's tough though because they can Hypnogaze. So you have to make sure that you do a good job of screening off your couple of your 2 scoring threats.
Indeed. I had to go for the pickup. If he picked it up there, I could at best win the game. I understand that that's a typo.
Oh no, I think going for the pickup was absolutely the right call, Hindi.
I just really like that typo because it's funny. Like at best, I could win here, and we don't want that really.
Yeah, so I don't think this is how I would have played that bit, but it must be said to have the wizard fail and then the sack fail is a little on the unlucky side, to say the least.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like
it was the 1 die. So it was like
on average that should have worked, but if we could have backed up like a couple turns, it probably would have been better to approach this in a different way that was more likely to work in the long run. But it is unlucky that particular thing didn't work there. Like, let's be clear.
We can address both bits of that,
Yeah, and I think both things are valid, right? It's valid to say that was a bit unlucky, and it's also valid to say that it was probably better to approach it in a different way.
Yarp.
Because then you wouldn't necessarily require the bit to get lucky. I mean, you still would have rolled that 1 at some point. Maybe it was in the past, but at least you could reroll that, right? Because you can't. Unfortunately, you cannot reroll a wizard.
I mean, we've been yelling about dicings in College League all week because it's the start of College League, and inevitably a bunch of coaches are like, I've been diced. And we're just like, all right.
Bam.
But like,
can you imagine if you could
is there something you could have done about this?
And how annoying that would be on a big fireball? It's like, do you want to reroll this one? No. How about this one? No. How about this one? You just have to click no like 14
No, you have to reroll the whole fireball.
Oh, I see. All of them at once.
It just shows you the result, and it's like, you want to try again? And you're like, yes, please.
Oh god, that would eat so many rerolls from people that like to gamble.
I mean, people would learn that average fireballs are terrible, and that, even on a reroll, you get an average fireball most of the time.
Oh, double skull. Not a double skull. Bonk. Oh, well then.
Bonk goes the thrall. You're ahead of me now.
We've got a level on one of the vampires so far. That's a strength blodge vampire. I wonder what we take there. I mean, strength is like so. Like
you take sidestep probably. You could take pro.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate pro, but
I was gonna say the
Hindi
common
has
wisdom
no
would
pro.
probably be pro or sidestep, but strength maybe you want to because he's strength you could change your mind a bit.
Well, sidestep is just really nice on the strength pieces because, like, a lot of the times teams will scramble to get one good hit on him, and that means if they fail that one good hit, suddenly they've got a strength 5 vampire in like the worst possible position. So I should see what he got. Did he roll strength again? Do you have a strength 6 vampire? I want to die.
Did he actually?
I don't know. He's not describing it to me.
Oh, Aldo's dead. What do you do with the strength 6 vampire? Take multi-blank?
You win games.
You 1-die trees.
So you have a strength 5 movement 7 one. You've got a strength 6 blodge one. That's disgusting.
There are 2 strength 5 vampires on the team in 3B as well. Which is a little bit silly.
There are no vampires in Div 1 because we are a sensible place, and Lumi is gone.
There was last season.
I know. Not this season.
Is he still
this season
playing?
is the season of the Necro.
Is he still playing vampires?
Yeah, he's down in 2B, I think. 2A, 2B, something like that. Where I will be going next season, unless I start winning games.
Hopefully I will be next season, but I also need to start winning games for that.
I was quite close to winning. I was close to tying my Rama game. I mean, there was a chance earlier in it for me to win, and then I was close to winning the Mongoose game, but then I failed spectacularly.
Oh, the good part about watching Hindi's game here is that we don't have to talk about it again in the actual recap part of it. We can just skip right over it because we watched it, so we don't need to see what happened. It's great.
I mean, I think we would just say, all right, league over, GG, on turn 15 of that game. And then we would just shut it all down. Someone would flip the switch, power would go out, we'd shoot metal in the head,
Oh, wow.
call it done. I don't do any, half-assed measures. If we're taking down REBBL,
We're cutting off its head.
I have to leave it unsaid because
What are we gonna have to do to poor Herringsword?
Herringsword,
man in REBBL.
we'll squirrel him away to Brazil.
Okay, good.
I don't know how REBBL became the Nazi leadership in my mind, but
yeah. That's quite a comparison.
Just gonna leave that there.
That's quite a comparison.
I like
wasn't that
several
Argentina,
people.
not Brazil?
It was. You're right. Yeah, they went to Argentina.
And other I think
I'm sure
Uruguay and stuff. I mean, South America in general, I think, was a fairly popular retreat.
I mean, so was America. It turns out.
Well, by the ones sponsored by the American government, yes, which turns out to be a lot of Nazis, but who were useful. Oh, you're okay. Thanks, America.
Sure, you're a Nazi, but you can build rockets, which is pretty dope.
Wow. Yep. That's. I mean, that's to be fair. That is what happened. But
slaps the side of America. This bad boy can forgive so many war crimes.
Yep.
We're getting very political today.
We are apparently. Oh well. Probably shouldn't, but
yeah, I mean, and
then
this fell apart. Then this is the way rats can fall apart sometimes. So I think yeah, I would have tried to quick score so you get wizard value. I think I would have 2 turned differently.
Oh, that just stuck a song in my head, and now I don't remember what it is.
Thank you. I was trying to have some meaningful content on this channel, but I'm glad you dragged us down to the bizarre inner workings of your brain.
it is. Bow down, or I prevail. Bow down is what that song is, which nobody probably knows. But when you said that line, it put that song immediately in my head, and I had to figure out what it was.
Sweet, sweet Nazi gold.
Yeah,
my partner is
Yahtzee
probably
gold.
very confused.
Probably.
Why did you score and turn? I guess the ball probably wasn't safe. You know, I'm not going to go back and check. It's fine. I'm sure you
cares?
Don't yell at me.
That was like an excited who cares, not an angry who cares. I throw up my arms in jubilation and shout to the heavens, who cares?
My internet doesn't like your stream today for some reason.
That's weird. That's your fault, not mine. Get better internet.
So is my CPU, but it's trying.
Oh. Changing weather, nice.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's going to be possible for him to two-turn here, especially if he gets some good stuff. He probably won't because he hasn't had a great run this game so far. Oh, Powell and that guy is really clutch, obviously.
Why are we on YouTube? I don't know how YouTube would like my stream. We're on Twitch.
I think he means your YouTube videos stutter sometimes, but I don't know.
Do they? Oh, probably. I should just,
Do you have kick Hindi, or was that just... No, that was just like... Oh, you do,
kick.
okay.
He has kick.
So it was slightly less egregious. I mean, this is going to be a long bomb.
What other kind of bomb is there?
Now, what I don't love about this, I think I wouldn't have based the thrall. Like, he can easily get enough players here to get a 2-die on this thrall, on this rat ogre. So I think if the rat ogre was in front here, it would have... Oh, Hindi doesn't care. I see.
That's not a YouTube thing. It's like an OBS/memory thing. I don't think that's YouTube, but yeah. The recording for YouTube is what that's for, or the reason for it, but it's not anything to do with YouTube itself. It's to do with how I have my recording set up, and I have something weird.
Okay, so basically, Hindi is saying, I don't believe in your capacity to throw a long bomb. Now that I've gotten rid of the gutter runner that was the likely handoff target, but you can still technically throw this to... you can't move as far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I mean, there's going to be intercepts, but I mean, you can.
Yeah, but it's a 6+ intercept. You're kind of in a position where,
Yeah, you're just going to have to accept that an intercept is a thing. It's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to remove the intercept.
So, like, this is a great position where I'd really rather this be a gutter runner. You could cut the corner and get a lot closer with a gutter runner, but...
because you could dodge more reliably anyway, like 2+ with a reroll rather than a 3+ with no reroll. And a gutter runner can throw just as well, except for the fact that you don't have the built-in reroll, but it's going to be better because you have Agi. Like, I don't know, there's definitely a math there, which at a distance where that matters, but it's probably going to work out pretty similar at shorter ranges.
Oh, gets the pass. Oh, the vampire got the intercept. I see.
You ruin everything.
You're welcome.
Here's the pass. I wonder if he's going to make it. Oh, the pass looks good. Oh, vampire intercept. How exciting. If only that wasn't spoiled for me. God.
You're so mad. It's good. Let's see. I want to take a look at this. So the rat's armor was fairly expected values, given that there were some mighty blow hits. Their injuries were also fairly expected value. There are a lot of knockdowns. That's
0% loner. Diced.
The number of knockdowns here is suspicious to me, in that it is like the rats made almost 35 armor rolls. rough game, but things to take away from it.
Yes. So shall we? Let's drop out of that so we stop hearing the music and we can.
No, let's watch the game again.
Okay. Do we want to go to 3A or 1? Let's go to 1 and continue with our sort of tradition.
Yeah, let's be consistent. I'm gonna turn a light on just a second.
Okay. Tell me when you've returned with your light. Have you returned?
I have returned.
Light? First, we have Deadbeat X's and Volcano. Elsod and Mongoose is loose.
Elsod reappearing after his sojourn into the mountains and absolutely thrashing Mongoose because Mongoose is bad at Blood Bowl. Look, 10 removals and he didn't win. Bad at Blood Bowl. Just
apparently.
Woof, you know?
Both 47 blocks to 41 blocks seems a bit weird. Like, I feel like Chorf should outblock the Necro in most cases, but they did, but not by a whole lot.
No, I mean, with Frenzy and also Necro tend to hit
Frenzy's a thing,
so.
Yeah. Five KOs suffered and 5 Kaz suffered by the Deadbeat X's. One of them got better. One KO and 1 Kaz suffered by the Chorfs. The Kaz did not get Apo'd, but your Blodge Guard Hobgoblin is now Agi busted. Which is a bit annoying, but not really the end of the world. He's still Blodge Guard, which is a thing. 2-1 to the Necro. Both touchdowns came from Clingy Sarah, the werewolf, who is plus Agi. Turns out it's not that difficult to score in an Agi 4 movement 8 piece, even if you lose some other players, as long as you're within 8 squares of the end zone. And that level is Mighty Blow. Ooh, there you go. Doubles for the werewolf. Agi Mighty Blow is a bit weird. I mean, it's hard to pass up another Claw Mighty Blow player. Is there a better thing you could do with that Agi? I don't know.
Oof, I didn't see the movement bust initially on Kinky Chris. That's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, double plus movement minus movement is certainly a thing.
I mean, he's still worth keeping, I think, but woof.
Dead kick dirty player wrestle zombie is like probably a little bit of a blessing.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
60k TV saved. It's a bit annoying that you're missing a kick now, but you can get another one.
You can. Necro don't need it.
No, not really. And when you do get another zombie double, you can take that and it's fine. Or zombie level, not double. It's zombie MVP. No levels for Mongoose. We got 3 Kaz from Demon Ball, but he's already like well past legend, so he doesn't need those.
Fucking Demon Ball. What a
Steel
fucking
Fist.
terror.
I know, right? I think the only worst Chorf we've seen is the one from Slade's team. What was his name?
It was a
it was like the devil.
Yeah, it was because it was a tarot card reference. Was it the devil?
Oh, because it was like, the devil upturned or whatever, something like a tarot card referencey that I don't.
Slade's not playing this season, right?
No, I don't think so.
They are taking it off. Anyway.
Then we have Finns and Not for Science. Oh, who do we predict for that one? Do you remember?
I'll go back. Hold on. And for the Hindi game, for the record, we predicted the Rats would win, so we lose points.
Hooray! How about Deadbeat X's and Volcano? Necro.
Deadbeat, we predicted that Mongoose would win, so we lose points.
It was just the devil, so I was right the first time, apparently. Okay, then we had Finns and Not for Science, Rats and Elves this time, and the Rats won.
This was really funny. I watched the start of this game, and Finns was like, normal Finns. And I came back like 2 hours later, and it's turn 15. Finns looks like he's just survived cancer, and is just like clinging to life. Just fucking brutalized. And like, he got out of the game. He pinged me in the chat. He was like, "I won. Fuck you." I wanted you to win. Why
dragged himself through the mud to like in the middle of a war zone to win that game. Came out the other side like 50 pounds lighter and like 10 years older.
Yeah, it was very much a like, what did it cost you everything kind of moment. Because like apparently things just really fell apart in the second half for Finns, and like otherwise was in a pretty good position, and then Not for Science did Not for Science things, and then Finns had to really, really scramble. Like I saw, like Not for Science was going to score and I think even win or tie, and like failed the GFI into the end zone. Like it was that sort of a game. Like after like Finn's just like catastrophically failed at trying to get the ball back from him. It was a whole
thing. Peter Schmeichel, the thrower, which I know is a real name. Like that's a goalie in football, or like a keeper in football, if I recall correctly. But
Schmeichel does sound like a really weird
like
German name.
Schmeichel sounds like a fake name, like Michael Schmeichel. Like it just sounds like a fake name, but that's a real person, and I laugh every time I see it. Has the one pass, MVP to the guard, line rat, 2 badly hurts that don't matter, and then the 3 touchdowns, all on the Agi gutter runner, who is now 1 point away from leveling. So 1 vanity pass there. We get to see what the Blodge Agi guy gets, which is good because that gutter runner could use another level easily, and it's nice to grab there rather than getting it to the other ones who are fairly complete. And then Lord Nathaniel Marr on his way to getting better. We got to see what this is. This is going to be like strength or something dumb, isn't it? It's got to be. Nope, just dodge. Okay.
No, this is the season where Not for Science only rolls normals and wins. But he didn't win this game. But he wins a lot of games.
Yeah. So he's the keeper for Manchester United. So I knew he was a keeper, and I knew it was. Because I've seen that name. It's just funny. It seems fake. It seems like a fake name, and I think it's really funny. I'm sorry for making fun of a person's real name, but I can't get over it.
I like that I lost and won more money than Rama. Yeah. So this was a game. I got aggressively out
about it for half an hour.
I'm not going to. Like we talked about it to death. Like,
did you get diced or not?
No, I don't think I got diced. Rema had better bash dice than me, and then I snaked 2 things. Like I failed literally 4 dodges in the game, and both were snakes. So it was a bit unfortunate on that front, but it was a really close game. We both like had our shots at winning.
Okay, so this replay analyzer thing though is super cool. Like I'm gonna get that out of the way. This thing is amazing.
Yeah, it's a cool thing.
But your rolls were 99.1 percentile, and Rama's were 97th percentile.
Yeah, it turns out like you can have good dodges and still snake twice, and that's not great. This is an excellent example of variance, like overall variance versus like actual, like actual effect.
I've been talking about this since season 8 when we first started recapping. Like it doesn't matter if you only roll 6s. If you roll A1 at the one wrong time where it matters, you can still lose games, and it looks like you had great dice, but it turns out it didn't matter. Right? If you like snake that one dodge that prevents you from winning, maybe you shouldn't have been in a position that required a dodge, but that's not always up to you. Right? And if you double skull just the wrong block, right? Like you can't tell me you can't win a game literally without making a block ever or a dice roll ever, right? Like
it's fine.
I've been talking about it forever. 2 completed passes from the thrower. MVP goes to the legend already player, so that's a little bit sad. So nobody levels.
Mine went to my rookie gunner, which is nice. So Marceline's only 4 from tackle, and then I will have a mobile tackle for the first time in far too long.
That'll be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I spited you, didn't I, and took Ramazet?
No, we both predicted Ramazet. So
damn, not ahead. Holing and Acropolis. I'm pretty sure we both picked Holing. Who could possibly have expected wood elves that know how to play against Nurgle with a boatload of inducements beating Nurgle?
Yeah. Willow. You don't see Willow very often. And Eldril.
I don't think I've ever seen like a wood elf team that gets a boatload of inducements versus a Nurgle team lose. Like I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
I mean, it does happen sometimes, but it has to look like that rat game that we just watched, where the Nurgle chew through the elves before the elves can get value out of their inducements, which is tough. Because
I beat Archangel's wood elves with my Nurgle when we were both in Div 1. So I'm a living example of that going the other way, so I'm not allowed.
Though Acropolis did level his rookie Nurgle warrior on an MVP, which is very nice.
That's really handy. You love to get that. I mean, you could. I think a lot of people would scream about block here. You could probably make an argument just for Mighty Blow, given that he's the Nurgle warrior that doesn't have any levels, and you really want to try to get him caught up a little bit. So there's a lot of people who would argue for Mighty Blow. He did take block, but I don't think it's wrong to take Mighty Blow there. And a lot of people
Block is nice because it makes him live longer. It makes him less of a target, I guess. Like it makes him.
And it does something similar too, in that you're less likely to not block with him. Like often, on the LOS, you're gonna not block with the guy who doesn't have block. You're gonna hit with the guys that do have block, and then maybe he doesn't get a thing.
Yes, I mean I think you still don't block with him because you have many Claw Mighty Blow players and they get priority. But
that's
I think like it's also true that like block is a bit of a kill skill in that you roll more knockdowns. It's not as good as Mighty Blow, but it's it's not useless.
So I complained about not having beer, and then Emily walked to the liquor store and brought me back a beer, just so everyone's aware.
Emily is very sweet. Tell her to bring me a beer too, please.
Walk to Quebec and bring him a beer.
Quebec! You're such a Canadian.
Quebec.
It's not it either.
I know it's not. It's a Letterkenny joke, you uncultured swine.
I don't actually watch that show.
Ugh. Apparently, you have to give her 5 days to get there.
Sweet. Make it 4.
Except we're not allowed to go there, so it doesn't matter.
Yes, you are. You can come here. You don't even have to quarantine if you come here.
What is wrong with your province?
Most provinces are like that. You don't need to quarantine in most of them. I think actually only in Nova Scotia. Because everywhere else is Canada.
No,
like everywhere else doesn't care. I don't think.
You have to in Northwest Territories.
Okay, fine. The territories, sure, they have like literally 4 people. But like BC, you don't have to quarantine. Ontario, you don't. Some workplaces will make you quarantine, but there's no government mandate as far as I know.
There's a federal government mandate.
Sure, when you're coming into Canada, but not from inside Canada.
That's fair.
Anyway, Practice Makes Permanent versus Talk Show Terror. We thought the Orcs would win, and they did.
Yeah, I mean, that much guard is just... Oh, the troll died, though. The ugly bag of mostly water.
Thank God. I mean, I think this team actually wants a troll, and I would consider rebuying it if he's got the money, which he probably does. But, yeah, I mean, like, this is a good time for that troll to die. Grab was arguably bloat.
Yeah.
So, now it's
guard, stand firm, pray for block, recycled. So I think now is it's a good excuse to recycle him, I guess.
The game just recycled him for you. Unfortunately, the wolf ate a movement bust, the legend one, so that's pretty bad. It would be a good excuse to recycle Wolf Blitzer, but
that the orc thrower got 3 completed passes.
Yes, because he gave him Agi.
I know, but it's funny.
I hate orc throwers.
Look at all the levels too. What a good game for.
Oh yeah, wow! I didn't actually notice. So, though I would say both the blitzers are kind of out of great normals. What do you take here? I mean, you love doubles. The blocker obviously goes stand firm.
Yeah, the blocker takes stand firm. One of the blitzers could go piling on. The other one could probably go juggernaut, maybe.
He got piling on and kick.
Oh, there you go. Kick is weird for a blitzer, but I guess
it is weird. But I mean, I don't actually hate it that much.
Neither do I. There's not that many other skills that are super useful, and he's always going to be on the field on defense. So why not?
Yeah.
Trevor,
I don't think orcs
need kick. I like that.
He already has a frenzy piece, Mongoose. Otherwise, that would make sense. But you don't want 2 frenzy blitzers, I don't think.
The entire Norse team would like to have a word with you.
Yeah, but Norse are terrible, and anyone who plays them is a degenerate, so...
I think you're just too invested in your rat thing, where anybody who doesn't play rats is a degenerate.
No, as soon as I lose with the rats, I'm going high elves, so...
Oh, I see.
I've already decided on my next team.
I still am playing the same team I played in college, and you're...
I know. I'm like 3 or 4 teams later. That makes sense, though.
It does. Barbecue's Pit Crew versus Monster. I tend to pick a thing I like and stay with that thing forever.
You're very loyal.
Barbecue's Pit Crew and Monster Bash. Barbecue Gamer and Tech 19.
We predicted the Necro would win and the Chorfs won. Rip us.
Yeah, we're not very good at this. They should fire me. 47, 44 blocks. The Chorfs took 1 KO and 3 KAs. Necro took 4 KAs and 3 KOs. So the Chorfs, out removing the Necro. 2 of those didn't come back, but the KOs are probably more relevant, just at least for the drive, right? Depending on what drive that was, even with the regens, it's a lot of players out. Bram Stoker, the zombie, picks up a level. He already has guard. So he's a block guard dirty player. The dirty player is bloat, but you get the guard after the dirty player, and you can't really pass up taking a guard zombie. So you play with him like you stole him, and then when he dies, he dies. But until then, he's a block guard player, which is pretty nice. No levels on the Chorps. We did have a blocker die, but he was a rookie blocker, so if you're gonna have a blocker die, that's the one you pick, I guess. Kaz coming from Baby Back Ribs and the Legend, so couple SPP going to useful players. And lastly, we had Superfed and Soul of Dragon's Fire.
Sorry, I walked away to revisit the college conversation I had left. We were trying to talk someone out of buying a 4th ghoul on a 1,000 TV undead team. And that did not go well, but attempts were made. Some people are stubborn. Fed pulling out a 3-1 win over Soul. I'm sure Soul is sour about this. He hates getting cast by rats. He hates rats more than any person I've ever met, I think.
Look at this, though. I
mean, Fed's got the dice this season. I don't know what to tell you.
I think, so he's going to have, it's the first half of the season, right? He's got about 3 more weeks before everything turns around. Right?
I hope they turn around as badly as, I think I want it to be, inversely proportional. I want it to even out. I want it to be net 0 luck. So I want the last 2 games for him to just get absolutely annihilated.
11 blocks, 11 injuries.
Yeah, no, exactly. Just literally delete the team.
That seems a little aggressive. But, look at this. I feel like this is ridiculous. This is the 3rd Agi team he's done this to in a row. Just getting 21 armor breaks, after 17 from blocks, 21 total, where the Marvelous Creatures suffered 9 Kaz and 4 KOs. I play games as Nurgle with 4 Claw Mighty Blow where I get 2 Kaz. And Fed plays rats and gets 9. I don't get it. But that's dumb. 2 badly hurt witches, 2 badly hurt blitzers, so they'll at least come back. But 2 movement busted linemen who are already not terribly fast because they're dark elves, and they both have guards, so that's going to be an annoying decision whether to fire them or not. But they're movement 5 now. A dead lineman, that one's fine, and an MNG Agi piece is annoying for the next game, but it's not the end of the world. I feel like there's very little Soul could have actually done here, right? By the end of the game, he had 2 blitzers. If that at all. They may have been KO'd at that point. So, I guess I'm not surprised it wasn't more than 3-1. Oh god, is he movement 4 now? Were they already movement 4?
There's a lot of discussion about movement 4 guard pieces.
Oh god, they're movement 4 now. They're both double movement busted.
They're both pivot pieces. That's it. They're flesh golems. It's fine.
They're Agi 4 movement or strength 3 flesh golems that are armor 8. I hate. Stop doing that. They're flesh golems. Why are they flesh golems? Because they have movement 4, even though they have none of the other qualities of being a flesh golem, strength or stand firm or armor 9 or thick skull or regen. They don't have any of those things. They just happen to be movement 4. Therefore, flesh golems.
I have the keys to the weird way your brain works, and I know that if I just say that, you can't help yourself but exploring the ways in which they are not flesh golems.
Yes.
God, we have fun here.
We sure do.
I predicted Fed and you predicted Soul, so get fucked.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know why I did that, but I did that. Why would I not predict for Fed to just dice another Agi team into the earth? Megan Rain picks up the 3 touchdowns and 2 completed passes for what? Not 11 SPP in a game. almost 0 to 2 in one game. What Shadowrunner is that? Megan Rain. Megan Rain now has strip ball, wrestle strip ball. So
Makes
we're
sense.
back to having a real sacker for Fed, which is something that he was missing for a bit. He had the Agi piece and the 1-turner, but he didn't really have a sacker. So getting that back makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, not as necessary in Div 1, simply because most people have sure hands. Of course, you can force them to not carry on the sure hands sometimes, but...
Yep. or you can force them to carry on the sure hands, especially when you have a wizard. And then you can wizard their good ball carrier, right? Like Nurgle or Chaos or whatever against rats, they might carry on like just a block goat instead of their like block sure hands goat if there's like a wizard around to try and stop that player from getting wizarded so they can then recover. But if they do that, then you just strip ball them instead.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. I remember one game in like last season in Div 3, or I guess it was in Div 2 last season. It doesn't matter. Where I was playing against someone and I had a wizard and they just were like, okay, well, I'm going to carry on my non-sure hands player. And I was like, okay, well, I have BMO. And they were like, I'm going to create an anti-leap cage. I'm like, I don't care if it's a red die. It just doesn't matter. Like, BMO's strength is nice, but it's not essential in any way.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't, though, if you have both options, which is, I think, a good reason for having it.
Yeah. I mean, the downside of that is that it's expensive, and I only get wizards against, like, very stacked teams.
Well,
like,
I mean, we're talking about Fed, not you egotistical fuck.
We're about to talk about me, though.
No, we're not. Also, we're talking about Div 1.
Yeah, no. I'm in Div 1.
Yeah, I mean, the results, the standings.
Yeah, we're done now. Oh, you want to talk about the standings, I see. I was going on to the next game, which is actually Fed versus Elsod, so yeah.
Fed is tied with Holing out in front, both with 8 points, although Finns, Elsod, Mongoose, and Rama are just 1 point behind that. And Acropolis, Not for Science, and Seoul are all 1 win behind that. Like 1 win takes them above. So a lot of games places still very close. Tech 19, Shadorra, and Our Name is Legion not doing too well at the bottom there right now. Okay, now we can predict games.
Well, Fed's strategy is not going to work this time because he is playing against Elsod with 40k in inducements, and I think we're in Elsod's stadium.
We are.
No Nuffles Altar. At best, he gets like a babe. I don't think he's going to burn money on this. He's finally got bank.
3 tackle, Agi, Mighty Blow, Werewolf. One of the tackles attached to a werewolf.
Doesn't have sure hands for this, which is a very. I mean, I wonder what Fed would have passed up to take strip ball on this gutter runner for this game. Like, yeah. I wonder would he have passed up boxcars? I think he might have actually.
And then Fed has 3 gutter runners, alignment, and 2 blitzers. So he's not going to have a bench because he gets 40k. I mean, he could scum one, or if he wants to. But
scumming one's pretty expensive. You probably just get a babe.
But he's going to lose players. Like, there's no way he finishes this without being down a few players at some point.
Yeah, there's only 2 Mighty Blow, but they are Mighty Blow frenzy, so they're going to be taking whatever player they're hitting down most of the time.
One of them's also Mighty Blow tackle frenzy.
Yeah.
And there's three
so tackle. There, I am dying. Yeah, I think that this is going to be a really tough one for Fed.
I think so too.
The strip ball is nice. He's going to carry on the wolf.
The ghoul being out is such a big deal.
Yeah, that said, if the ghoul were in, he'd have a wizard. So I don't actually know if that's better. Like, it's not fair. It's not like this wolf has, or it's not like this gutter runner has easy ways into a cage. If you just cage up, it's a 5+. Sure, 5+ is work, but you have enough tackle to make sure that it's a 5+ without a built-in reroll, and then into a red die with guard. Sure, the odds of that working are non-zero, but it's not great. We can actually check what it is. It's a 5+, and then into a -2 die where everything is good but a skull. With a reroll, it's 45%, but that fails sometimes.
45% fails sometimes. It fails more often than half the time.
Yeah, it's the inverse of a lizard catch.
You heard it here first, folks. A rat cage dive sack is the inverse of a lizard catch. Those two are opposite things.
Statistically.
Okay. Who do you... I think I want
you to take odds of it, but that's fine.
I think I'm going to go with the Necro. Just
like, I want to go Necro, but it's... Every time I vote against early season Fed, I just lose points.
I know, that's exactly what I'm feeling too. Like, Super Fed just doesn't lose the first 6 games of the season, and then he starts losing afterwards. But see you later. But I just feel like if I didn't know that, I'd want to take the Necro here. So I'm gonna go with that, I think. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, and I hope I hope you didn't feel too sour about getting ripped on a bit, but constructive.
Was it? I mean, we talked about Nazi gold for a lot of it.
I attempted to be constructive with my rat, advice, and Fed did too.
Marvelous Creatures and Barbecue's Pit Crew. 1720 Dark Elves, 2050.
You are predicting the Necro? Well, that was your final call? Okay, let me write that down.
That is my final answer. Da-da-da-da. Now the $1 million question. Soul of Dragon's Fire, 1720 Dark Elves, despite missing 3 players for this game, against 2050 Chorfs.
Not a bad amount of inducements to have. How is the Souls team looking after that battering? Nothing relevant is out. He's got all of his positionals.
The guard being out is annoying, but they're also movement 4, so even if they were in, I don't think they'd be useful.
I agree. Barbecue has 4 relevant Chorfs. He's got 1 relevant bull. I guess 2 technically. But they're not that scary. There's no sure hands, but there's no strip ball for... Oh, no, there is strip ball.
Sure hands. And there is
sure hands. I'm just wrong on every front. Don't worry about it. I could see Soul winning this pretty handily. He's going to have...
The Agi 6 blitzer is so much of this, I think.
Yes, it often is with Souls games. That player does a lot of work.
If he doesn't do work, I think the Chorfs win. And if he does do work, then they win. But that's hard to predict ahead of time. Just because... Dark Elves are one of the elf teams that is slightly more susceptible to bashy things because they try to play that way sometimes, although I don't think Soul will against Chorfs. But I don't I think I'm going to take the Dark Elves because Agi 6 and Wizard, basically.
Fed, can you tell me what you would have passed up on that gutter runner to have strip ball for this game? Also, do you think you're going to win this game? I'm curious. We can move on in the meantime because Fed types like an old man.
Fed is an old man.
You passed up movement non-doubles. I mean, I guess you have a natural one-turner already.
Yeah, you don't need it. Tech 19 and Dead Monkey, Necro versus Orcs. If Orcs can beat one Necro team, can they beat another Necro team? This time without a troll? Oh, they bought a troll. Kermit the Trog. Ha!
You are easy to please, my friend.
I sure am. I'm a simple man with simple tastes.
Okay, fair enough. Would have taken the Agi, would have taken the strength.
I think the big difference here though is the double Agi wolves, right? They can do a lot of nonsense that the Orcs might not be able to deal with. I mean, yeah, sure, they have tackle, they have guard, they have strength, but if movement 8 and Agi 4 just leaves, there's only so much the Orcs can do about that. But during the bash part of it, they're going to win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guard for the Necro. Keeps up with the 6 from the Orcs, but the Orcs also have the higher strength.
Are you actually going to scum a wizard? That would be
90k,
a savage amount of bench or bank. But I mean, if you have a
100K.
wizard, I reevaluate my my prediction, but we won't know that until the game. Actually, damn, that's a commitment. I think with that, I would probably skew more Fed, but I've already made my call. Insider trading aside.
You white collar criminal, you.
I can't help it. It's in my blood. These Necro also have
criminal or white.
Both, probably. Actually, no, my people are pretty like fish factory worker oriented, so not really white collar crime.
Blue collar crime.
I don't know.
Fish collar crime.
I know my grandma did tell me a story about how she like ruthlessly backstabbed the plant manager so that she could get that job, and she told it with like pride. That was like, all right, Grammy. That's pretty savage.
Grammy's a savage.
But I already knew that she's a cold bitch.
Grandma's a cold bitch.
Anyway, this is going to be an interesting one because this Necro team can stand up to the Orcs a little bit, and they do have the Mighty Blow Claw, but I think that it's still going to be a pretty tough game for them to bash.
I think that the Orcs beat Necro just this week. I think they can do it again. I think Tech 19 probably has a better chance than the last Necro team did, but I think I'm going to lean on the standings a little bit and take Dead Monkey here.
I think if you told my grandma that she was a cold bitch, she would also take that as a point of pride. I'm going to take Tech. Oh, wait, no, Tech 19 is having a bad season. Yes. I will take Dead Monkey because I believe in the power of tilt.
Then we have Toxo Terror and Ordinary Elves. 1540 Necro versus 1540 Wood Elves. We're missing one of the wolves, which is a big deal in the Wood Elf matchup, for sure. We do have a Diving Tackle White, and we have a Tackle Wolf, and we've got a Mighty Blow Tackle piling on White, which is certainly good. 2
Necro games against teams that are used to getting inducements, and in fact aren't getting any.
Although the Necro have 0 sure hands, and the Wood Elves have the War Dancer.
Wood Elves win.
Correct.
Moving.
Also, we're not in the Ordinary Elf Stadium, so we have Beer Hall or Beer Stadium stand, Frenzy thing, whatever it is, beer stand.
I mean, like, this could be a tougher game because there's a Diving Tackle White, there's a good amount of Mighty Blow piling on, but yeah, I think and there's a bunch of dirty player. But
Speaking
I think the Wood Elves.
Moving on, Rats with Nurgle, Rats with a bunch of inducements against Nurgle. I pick the Rats.
I also think that I can beat Acropolis's team. It's going to be a weird one, I think, but
I mean, frankly, I think a rookie Rat team with 1,000 GV and inducements could beat any Nurgle team.
It's a bold statement.
But I don't think so. If you took your team and just made it 1,000 TV and then just had 1,000 TV of inducements for stuff, I think you could still just beat most high TV Nurgle teams.
Yeah, I'd miss the reliability skills, but I think you could pull it off. Yeah, I think I can win. I think it's going to be... I'm not going to do a lot of bashing against Acropolis, but I think I'm going to take his ball and run away with it.
Yes, and then the Nurgle just cry because they can't reach you.
Does he have your hands? He does, but, only one.
Yeah. Like, you could induce a loner gutter runner with like block or wrestle or strip ball or whatever if you want. You get a wizard, you can get a massive bench. If you want, you can get all the cool star players, like extra gutter runner star players basically. Glart is amazing. Like I'm pretty sure like take a good Nurgle coach and a good Rat coach, give the Rat coach a TV 1000 team and the Nurgle coach a TV 2000 team, and the Rat coach wins like 85% of the games.
Oh, and a third mirror. Finns is actually carrying 50k extra, so it's more like Finns gets 80k in inducements, 70k because I can do math. Finns versus Rama. Rama is not missing anything. I don't think. I don't
He's
remember.
Missing a wrestle lineman, but
I have NG'd a wrestle thing, but that's it. Finns has his full team. Finns is in a slightly better position to win this than I was ish. Not really.
I don't know.
I mean, it's going to be the same thing same problem that Rama had versus me, which is that like the thrower is not very safe in the backfield because it's a thrower without a block skill, and no one else is safe because Finns has a leap strip ball piece. But that's largely true as well if Starseeker stays on the field, which he was immune to blocks. So if that happens again, he's going to have a hard time.
Well, Ramaset beat you, but Finns is also better at Rats than you are.
I agree.
But his players are similar, if not slightly worse. Man, that catcher is a monster.
Yes. He was carrying the ball at the end of the game, and I got 4 dice on him with tackle and could not take it down. And then in my one turn attempt that turned into a 2-turn because of a riot, I got 4 more dice on him with tackle to try to get him out of the way and armor break him. And I also got punches. Yeah, Finn's team is good because it's got like everything it needs, and it's got some bench space. Like it's doing pretty well on the healthy front. Like he can actually afford to foul and do things like that.
Oh man, I do not know who I pick here. I think if I I'm gonna go rats. Like I'm gonna gut instinct and like just take the first team that comes to my mind and hope I don't regret that. And I think that's rats for me. I just think that the rats can do basically the same things that the elves can, but potentially a little bit better in some cases.
I will take the high elves. Yeah, the high elves end up kind of playing a bit of a bashier game where they try to like be more in the rats' faces because the rats can't do as much counter bashing. But
in a match that has definitely happened before at least one time, I felt not for science and mongoose. 1600 high elves and 1980 chaos dwarves. 380 for the high elves, which is a lot.
It is a lot.
If this
what
was
is
like
Mongoose missing? Mongoose is missing just his goblin. He doesn't have sure hands.
He does,
but
on a bull centaur.
Oh, it's up there. Never mind. Yeah, but bull centaurs are scary to pick up on.
This was like a normal not for science team where it had all the broken players. I feel like I'd be a bit more inclined.
Really? I think this is way more in his favor because his team is just
that's
a little plain.
That's what I mean.
Oh, sorry, that's what you mean.
The fact that like I'd be more inclined to pick mongoose, I guess, is me not finishing the sentence. Like if you had a whole bunch of broken players still and that sort of thing, and we could just engage like with the punch kill. They can't run away because they're slow and niggled and that kind of thing. It'd be easier for mongoose. But given that he's just got like a solid standard elf team with some inducements, right? We've got the strip ball player, we've got the strong arm thrower, we've got an agi guy, we got a wizard. We got a bunch of blodge players that can move away. They're gonna have to move away from the blockers, but if they move far enough away with tackle, but if they move enough far away, then what are the bull centaurs going to do? There are only 2 of them, and only one of them is tackle, and he's also the guy who needs to carry the ball. If you want to defend against the strip ball, so I think I like the high elves. If this was like a standard, not for science team, I think I would take the chaos dwarves. Okay, so let's move on to REL 3. 3A.
I think we've been on the call for. I think the stream has been live for about an hour and a half, and it hasn't broken yet.
It has. We probably have about 15 to 20 minutes before it breaks. We will see.
Is it consistent on the timing? No, you said it wasn't.
It's not.
Not on timing or file size.
Nope. Which is why I can't really figure out why it's doing it. Why is my encoding overloaded?
Actually, we are literally a minute away from an hour and a half.
Well, if it crashes soon, everybody will know why. Gazgul and Rise of T-Man, Dance Monkeys and the Sleeping Souls. The Kislev beat up the Norse that don't have any team. And by beat up, I mean 1, but did they beat them up? They took 3 Kaz, and the Kislev took 3 KOs and 3 Kaz. So, I mean, they got beaten up mostly, but they also...
We predicted the Kislev would win, so...
We were right. Good. I mean, I think just the agi players are going to be able. They're going to be. We said we were talking about how they'd have to play very elfy, and they basically just did. Right, 3 completed passes, 2 touchdowns, mostly just running away. Like the Norse loners all have blocks, so they're going to get to punch stuff. But if the Kislev just get in the way and run away and use their stats and movement, then Norse don't have the tools to actually like tempo punch their way through you because they can't re-roll any of those random 1 and 9s they get because most of their block players are loners. They don't have like a reliable sort of just like mighty blow player to try to get through the Kislev. Like, I think it was going to be pretty hard for the Norse to win that.
Yeah, and then in a bit of an upset, the Lizards beat the Necro 2-0 on the back of mostly the Necro having terrible injury dice.
Yeah, it seems
and
that way.
Terrible regions. 4 Kaz sustained, 4 Kaz stick, including 2 deaths on position. Well, 1 death on positional.
0% region. Oof.
Big oof.
MNG two touchdowns from the like natural 1-turner skink as well.
That's not actually a 91 turn.
Almost.
Almost.
1 push sidestep skink.
Yes, it's not very hard. If you have a Juggernaut Saurus, eventually you can even do it through Stand Firm. So,
if you have a singular player that can block or that can blitz, you can just push the player into that skink no matter how they position. Yeah, both touchdowns from that. Saurus level on the Strength Saurus, actually. Let's see what that is. It is Guard, which is unsurprising, but also good, which is why it's unsurprising.
Yep, that's what you should take there. If you roll Dodge, I would take Blodge, but other than that, I would probably skip. I would take another Strength up, obviously, but I wouldn't take anything else.
You mean you wouldn't take an Agi up, or an Armor up, or a Movement up on a Saurus?
I mean, think about it. Agi 2, Strength 5, 6, whatever. I don't know.
5 Saurus are base Strength 4.
Yes, I was forgetting
double Agi busted vampire without bloodlust.
Nice. So yeah, we predicted the Necro would win there, so we lose a point, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable to predict the Necro there, and I also don't think it's unreasonable for the Lizards to have won that, given the Necro had bad regen and bad cast dice, it seems.
Yep. And then Callisti versus Trox in the Chaos Showdown. We said Callisti would win, and he did, 2-1.
Right. This was a hard choice, though, but we did eventually settle on Callisti.
Callisti aggressively won the Bash game, and that really was that. Apparently, it was pretty close despite the removals. I think Callisti said that Trox played a good game being down and still, pushed for the win. Made some chances happen.
Took chances, made mistakes, and got messy.
Sure.
Are you not uncultured again?
What is that one?
Magic School Bus. God, did you not have a child?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm not used to it being said dramatically.
That's fair.
I've watched every episode of the Magic School Bus, including the one where they made salmon come on children.
Yes. I forgot about that until you mentioned it. But you mentioned it, now I have the exact scene playing through my head.
Children screaming as the salmon comes. It's fine.
Oh my God. This is definitely a Blood Bowl related show, everybody.
My favorite was always the light one.
Yes, the pinball machine. Oh, it was so good. A lot of people will debate that the frictionless baseball was better, but they're wrong. The light pinball was better.
Things are getting heated in the Magic School Bus fandom.
Yeah, they are. I have opinions. Not really. Not for real.
Okay, Chorfs versus Hiles. We said the Chorfs would win, and they did. 3-2. Quite the scoreline for Chorfs.
We gotta check the levels. Gotta check these levels first. Rotten Cotton, the Beastman, and
check the levels.
Flam. Oops, I clicked on Clisty Maya, not those guys. Flim Flam has Dodge, and whatever the other one I said. What was the other one I said? Rotten Cotton. Juggernaut. That makes sense. I'm surprised that wasn't piling on, actually. But Juggernaut is a good choice, too. Yeah, got the removals first, so it's likely going to turn into a win. Yeah, so back to what you were saying. Chorfs and Elves. Continue.
I have a giant fajita. I can't continue.
He spelled Gorilla Radio wrong.
Thank you. Yes. You just want to dwell on that for a while?
Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't dwelling on that. I was reading the other names. And it's fun that like the band members have like pun names like Bomb Morello or Zactala Rakia, but all the other ones are just the names of songs, which feels like a mix and match thing to me. You know? Also, one of those is a cover, not a real, like not a original RATM, but it's a very good cover, so I suppose it's okay. Oh, I see. That's why. Callisti Maya explaining why it's not piling on. That makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of Stand Firm coming up and has another killer that he could have the chance to roll jump up on first before taking piling on, which does make sense. Okay, what happened here? Strength plus alignment.
I'll sometimes do a kind of split theme between linos and positionals, but yes. Anyway.
Yeah, some bunch of injuries. Okay, so the Chorfs got what 19 armor breaks on the Elves. You know, that was 7 Kaz and 2 KOs versus 2 Kaz and 1 KO. I mean, Chorfs don't win with 3 touchdowns on the merit of actually scoring 3 touchdowns. They win with 3 touchdowns by removing enough players that they can just walk up the field and no one can stop them. So that is unsurprising. That there were this many casualties in a game where Chorf scored 3 touchdowns. Fall did score 2 as well, so you know, potentially the Kaz came late and that was a late touchdown, or maybe Fall just played really well with a minimum number of players. We did get 2 levels for Fall as well. Pavian Kind 2 and Thermopile 8. Dodge and Dodge. Which makes sense, but you know, boring. Bullet in the Head and Guerrilla Radio have also picked up levels. Blocker and a Hobgoblin. That's a Blodge Step Hobgoblin that got 3 touchdowns to level. I don't know why I glossed over that earlier, but there you go. The Blodge Step Hobgoblin now has tackle as well. Oh my. And the blocker, you know, either got claw or like mighty blow or something. Diving tackle. Okay, so I suppose that makes sense. I was like, why didn't we take claw? Because we already have 4 Chorfs with claw. Every Chorf on this team except 1 has rolled a double. Every single one of them.
Pass up claw.
I mean, he passed claw because he had 4 and decided to take diving tackle, which I can see the argument for, I suppose.
Incorrect.
More claw, more better.
Yes, actually. I'm not even being sarcastic.
I mean, I don't hate diving tackle. You see some people take diving tackle on like Black Orcs and like Chaos Warriors and stuff sometimes.
Like dwarf linos, which is definitely what's happening here. But
yeah, I mean, it's harder to justify when you could have taken claw, but I think the fact that you have 4 is pretty good justification. I mean, if your opponents are playing very well, the most blocks you're going to get in a turn is 4, right? You have 3 LOS blocks and a blitz, and then unless you end up in that big fight, which you're going to win anyway, because you're Chorfs and have block guard everywhere, like extra claw it has diminishing returns. I don't want to say it's wasted because it's still good, but like your 5th claw is certainly a lot less good than your 2nd claw.
I think I would rather have taken guard than I would take diving tackle.
I mean, I think that's fair too, but I think a lot of people would be like, why not claw? And I think claw is not necessarily as good as people think it would be in that situation. Okay, my stays in Vormaren. Vormaren won this one 2-1 over my stays. Which is, I don't know if we predicted that. I mean, the catcher is really good, of course. Movement 9.
No, we predicted the Nurgle would win.
Yeah, Vormaren wins this one 2-1. The Kislev suffered 6 KOs and 3 Kaz. And the Nurgle suffered only 2 KOs. Maybe if those Kaz came late in the game and they didn't happen early, that very easily explains a 2-1 win. You kind of need them to come early so that if you want to do that one tie or the 2-1 win as the Nurgle, if they come late, it probably allows you to get your touchdown, but it doesn't allow you to stop the Kislev one. Oh, all early. There you go. So I guess well played to Vormaren then for pushing through that then, if all of them were down early on. 1 Kaz from Nurgle Warrior, 1 TD from a Pestigor, the rookie Pestigor, which is nice. That's really handy. I mean, scoring on the 1 rookie, like the 1 player who needs it the most, is definitely something you can be happy about in this game for my stays. And let's see what that catcher picked up. Block. That makes sense. A lot of that makes sense. Pickups this week, but to be fair, things are good things make sense because they're good, so you're going to see them a lot. 2 touchdowns on that catcher to level is very nice as well. not both players getting SPP where they want it, actually, which is pretty nice. MVP on the Beast even, which is less good at this point, given that he already has block, but, you take it.
I'm sorry, I had to eat that immediately. I'm back.
And then we watched Tindy versus Dung, so we don't need to talk about that. Dwarves 3-0ing lizards. That's a thing. I mean, I think we predicted the dwarves because the lizards are missing a lot of their Saurus.
You predicted the dwarves and I predicted the lizards.
There you go. I even talked about Boomer, and look, we got Boomer. Yay.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tarandal has left the league. He has dropped from the division, so that will be a bye moving forward. Yes.
Is there a good reason for it, or is it like a rage quit?
Do we know? I think he said something about having stuff going on, like real life issues.
Okay, then no shame. If it's a real life thing, real life happens. No shame there. If we knew that it was a rage quit, I would very aggressively publicly shame you, and I think that's a fair policy to have. No shame in real life.
Callisti asked me to pull up the distribution. I mean, it's like 30th percentile versus 97th. It's like, I don't think, again, that looking at broad variance pools is a meaningful tool in Blood Bowl, but
I mean, at the end of the game, he had a Kroxagore and a Liz and a Saurus.
Could have legally conceded.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he niggled on his rookie who got the MVP. Nice Blood Bowl. Badly hurt. Nothing really serious. He MNG'd another skink.
God, instead of randomly talking about game, like it would take so much longer. But instead of, which is probably a bad thing, but instead of like randomly talking about games, like skipping through this to see when like casualties and stuff happened would probably be a lot nicer. But that's going to take a lot longer.
If we were doing one division, I could like consider using the replay viewer, but
I mean, even just like clicking and browsing very quickly for ones that we have like questions about, like this one.
A lot of streamers have started doing that before the matches. I know Unseen Walker actually watches a lot of the matches in his div because he's insane.
Yeah. Get better.
Anyway,
soon.
We can do predictions.
No levels despite all the removals and the 3 touchdowns, surprisingly. But there you go.
So after that week,
look at the standings.
1-0, 1-2.
The Beeftown Brawlers are out in front, tied with Hindi and Dung for with 9 points. So if Dung had won that, he'd be clear in the lead with the Skaven. But Hindi winning that puts them tied. Scorpion, those lizards are 1 draw behind. And then MyStays, T-Man, Negatron, Jasposaurus, and Vormarin are all 1 win behind first as well. So very easy for this division to continue to swing. Tarandal, who has left, is at the bottom, and that it will stay that way. I hope whatever's happening in his life works out for the better.
I have good news and bad news, Ben.
What's the bad news?
The bad news is that we're still tied. The good news is that we both earned 2 points, bringing our grand total to -4 and -4.
I mean, that's good news in both cases.
I don't like tying.
But this way, everyone's a winner.
I want to win at -6.
I want everybody to be a winner, as long as everybody had fun. Nurgle and Kislev.
Yes, MyStays versus Kislev again. He gets back-to-back Kislev. I'm sure he's thrilled. Nothing missing from the Nurgle, obviously.
The Kislev are missing their best lineman, though, the strength Agi guy. I feel like I'd probably just want Nurgle here.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's going to be an option for a sack, but it's not going to be a good one. So I think I will, once again, take the Nurgle.
Yeah, I want to take MyStays. I mean, we get a lot of inducements for the Kislev, but the Nurgle have a lot more blocks. They're going to get a lot more blocks. They're going to get removals with the Mighty Blow. They have Tackle. They've got Stand Firm and Guard to prevent sacks. And the Kislev have, like, a Wizard and 1 guy with Agi.
Yeah, I mean, like, the Wizard and the 1 guy with Agi could totally get the job done. Like, all you need to do to beat Nurgle is literally take the ball once, and then they lose.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be not that easy, and I believe in MyStays' ability to play around the Wizard a little bit.
Yeah, and even then, just trying to pass it as like or catch it or whatever as Agi 3 a lot of the time is going to be really affected by Disturbing Presence, which matters less for like Skaven because they're all Agi 4 or like elves.
He's going to be doing it on the catchers, which are Agi 4 or 5. So
that's true.
I could see the Kislev winning that. I don't actually think it's hopeless, but I think I believe in my state.
I just think the Nurgle will win more often than the Kislev do there.
And then we have Hindi versus Jaspersaurus.
The Chorfs with 4 claw.
Yeah, only 3 for this game because 1 is out on a niggle.
Versus the Vamps.
Yeah, not going to be a tackle problem on this one. Strength 6. Marquess Bill. Marquise. I guess it's Marquise.
Yeah, strength 6.
As much strength as he has movement.
I don't care about the thrall. It's scarier against the vampires than the thralls. It doesn't do anything to the thralls.
I mean, I think you just ignore the vampires this match and totally just murder thralls. He only has 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 thralls.
3 guard is nice. The bulls are pretty good against potatoey vampires, but as per usual, the Chorf offense is going to be a nightmare for the Chorfs, and the vampires are going to have a pretty good time just like sacking, getting in the way, hypnogazing, slow moving cages. The vampires are gonna have a very pretty easy time on defense, probably even more than normal, I think. But their offense might be even worse than normal.
Yeah, I mean, what he's gonna do is maybe he's gonna claw palm a vampire if one is convenient, but other than that, he's just going to base up thralls and mighty blow them, and that's all he's gonna need to do. There's only 1 stand for him, which is nice, so going to be some amount of getting away with stuff. Both of the bull centaurs are blodge, and one of them is even tackle, so that's going to be a bit of a nightmare for Hindi in terms of keeping his ball safe, though strength 6 is always kind of safe, so that's a thing.
Oh man,
I mean, I would love to play this team with my Skaven, because
am I really about to pick the vampires?
I mean, I'm going to pick the vampires.
I don't want to pick the vampires, but I'm going
to pick the vampires until they lose, and then I'm going to laugh.
2110 Chaos versus 1600 Lizards. In the shortest prediction ever, I take the 2100 Chaos.
And not the Lizards who have left the league?
Oh yeah, good point. Moving on. Different Lizards versus Dwarves. The Lizards are 1670 versus the 1850 Dwarves.
Lizards do well versus dwarves most of the time. I'm pretty sure I said that last week too.
I think you did.
These lizards have good skinks, which are very good
so
versus
did the other
dwarves.
Lizards?
I did.
The Strength 5 Saurus with guard is huge in this matchup. That's going to be hard for the only Strength 3 dwarves to shift even with their guard, and they're going to have to shift it to get blocks on other things.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's guard is great and all, but strength usually trumps it, and strength guard in particular trumps it.
We do have a Strength 4 Troll Slayer where the Dauntless matters, though.
The Dauntless matters. Yeah, and they've got a movement 7 runner, so it's not like potatoes are super.
They do have 2 Strength 4 players. There's a Strength 4 blocker and a Strength 4 Troll Slayer, which is
I think the Lizards will win. The Lizards get a wizard.
I believe in dwarves. I don't really. I think the Lizards probably will win, but I'm going to pick something different than you and take the dwarves. Norse and rats. 1380 Norse versus 1460 rats.
Oh, fuck playing Norse when you're rats. It's the worst.
Except these Norse have 1 mighty blow. They have 1 tackle.
Doesn't matter. You always lose. It's the worst matchup. It actually sucks.
Loners with block for
in a loner battle. Yeah, the ones with block weight.
Yeah. I mean, Bullfrog, the Strength 4 Mighty Blow Blitzer, is going to wreak havoc on the Norse, though.
You say that, but 55% of the time he gets a knockdown only. When in return, the Frenzy block Mighty Blow one does a lot better. I think...
Then Norse get some amount of inducements?
Like 80k.
Yeah, I mean they could scum like a bribe and just stomp on a gutter runner if they want to. You can just go for like the babe, because given that you're not going to have a bench and you're probably going to have 1 or 2 players KO'd given the mighty blow.
Babe isn't bad. 80k you could also buy a lino, I think, which I wouldn't hate, just having a bench and like an extra block piece is nice.
Yeah, they're just 50.
Like buying a lino is something I've embraced a lot of the time when I have like an awkward amount, because it's kind of like it gives you some removal protection and it also gives you some fouling potential if things are going well, like that sort of stuff.
Right. Like you mean as an inducement, not like as a rostered lino. Induce a lino.
Rostering a lino is a great idea for most teams. Teams where it's bad, sometimes chaos, but not even lizards. You don't often want your bench is really got to be pretty lean, because lizard linemen suck.
Like one of my go-to inducements as Nurgle is just another rotter, because another rotter is a bench. It's also basically a bribe. Like another rotter is a cheaper bribe.
I think I like the Norse even with all that. I don't think that Dung is going to have a great time here.
In the interest of being different, I think I'll take the rats. Got to try to break this tie somehow. Negatron and Vormaren, 1390 Necro and 1690 Kislev. That seems a bit weird for them. Like the Necro have like one really good werewolf and one really good wolf, which might be enough, even though they're lower in TV, especially because they're going to get something like Cheney. Because the Kislev just don't have. There's not really that much block lying around for Kislev. Like they tend to go through rerolls on things they don't need to. The catchers can be caught up to and crushed by the wolf pretty well because they're strength 2 and movement 7. There's actually more guard for the Kislev than there is for the Necro, though, which might be a bit annoying. Like those blitzers are going to be pretty annoying for the Necro. I don't know what to pick here.
I mean, Vormaren has been pulling out some wins.
That's what my thought.
I owe him a cast. We should have cast him this week, maybe.
Probably should have.
Because given that he beat my stays.
Well, that was the other option to look at from that day, was that this game.
I can't believe I watched a Hindi game. I'm so
I don't know. Oh well.
I'm a back my boy. You need to get rid of some of these movement busted linos, though, buddy.
Both of them have exactly even records against the other race. The Necro are like 1-0-1 and the Kislev are 1-2-1 against the other race. Ooh, is Vormaren in Hawaii? That's cool.
I'm jealous. I wish I was in Hawaii.
I've never been.
I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Given that it is part of America and I'm not overly fond of America. It didn't feel like part of America.
I mean, I can see that, given it's an island like very far away from the rest of America, both like physically and culturally.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of like Japanese influence because of obvious reasons. What with being in the Pacific, and
what with being an island in the Pacific when Japan existed in the 1800s.
They also did they do a lot of tourism there. So like the Japanese food is really good. It is like unbelievably pretty. Unfairly pretty, even. And I come from a postcard province. Anyway,
yeah, I'm very partial. I'm weird aesthetically. I'm very partial to like the sort of like picturesque but semi-depressing like rock and ocean sort of thing. Like
we are a melancholic people. I mean,
Nova Scotia, like Norway, Scotland, like the sort of like slightly foggy, oceany, like rock coastlines. Oh man, I love it so much.
Yeah, if it looks inhospitable and like it might kill you, that's really our vibe. And then you sing sad songs and drink a lot of beer.
I really hate warm things, but I feel like Hawaii is not one of those places that's actually hot all the time. I feel like it's just like
it's
nice
like
all the time.
But it occasionally it spritzes on you in this nice way to just cool you off a bit. But also like I was there and I expected to have a bit more weird feelings because I'm used to things not being so idyllic. But it turns out when you're floating in like, beautiful warm bathwater while you get a vaporwave sunset as you drink a cocktail, like there are worse things to do with your life.
Yeah, I was in Barbados which is not Hawaii, but it's like a small island, like sort of tropically, right? It's kind of similar in some ways, but right before the pandemic, and like I was worried that I'd be too warm, but no, that was perfect. Like it was amazing for all those reasons that you just said.
Anyway, I also had really good Szechuan in Hawaii. But yes, let's move on to the last match so that I can go eat more fajitas because I have a mighty need.
Oh, I don't think I predicted one for that, but I think I'm also.
I assumed you predicted Vormaren, but you could take the Necro if you want.
No, I'm going to take Vormaren. Troxbirds, 1830 Chaos, and 1530 High Elves from Here We Fall.
Trox didn't actually take any permanent, like round-to-round removals. He's got Peach Butter, which is an extremely good sacker for Chaos, in that it is movement 7, strength 5 on the blitz with tackle. So, and he's also got a wrestle tackles for Fall Beastman. So Fall's going to have a bit of trouble holding onto the ball potentially. A lot of dodge, but there's a good amount of tackle for these guys. But there's not a lot of tackle attached to Mighty Blow. There's no tackle attached to Mighty Blow. There's only actually 2 tackle. Yeah, I like Fall for this, I think. Fall's had a bad run. He deserves a win.
Yes, I think I think I probably agree with you. Like the Beastman is a big deal. Like the killer Beastman here is a pretty big deal against the Elves. High Elves, because they do have armor 8, so Claw, Mighty Blow, piling on, jump up is good. Yes, you're about to say the things that I was also going to say.
Right, like everything else about him.
He's movement 5, so and agi 2, so the elves just sort of run away. Plus, he also doesn't have tackle, so he's not going to be able to get it's going to be harder for him to block the pieces that are actually relevant.
Yeah.
And then Fall gets some inducements, and I think I probably like the elves for this one as well.
Fall actually has a worse record versus Chaos than Trox has versus High Elves. Trox has beaten High Elves 100% of the time on 2 matches, and Fall is 3-1-3.
Well, let me bring up the title screen. Thanks everybody for hanging out. That's been our show for this week. We will be back next week. Same time, same place, roughly, for week 6, which is almost halfway through. It's going faster than I expected. But time flies when you're having fun, or something, I think.
Probably.
Some sort of, platitude. Let's stop.
I like that we've ended with the discussions of the logistics of tackling day 9.
That happens. Okay. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We will be back next week, and until then, I've been Steakmittens.
And I'm Shadorra.
And this is a kitty.
Kitty.
And we will see you folks next time.